Hi, I'm George and this is Dave. We're here from Acme Guitar Works to tell you about this guitar that we've done. This is a Mexican standard Stratocaster. We are a Fender dealer, and we buy these guitars from Fender, and then we hot rod them with parts, and we put some labor into them to really make them play really well and sound great. And the prices are very reasonable, so you can have a really high quality guitar with a real high level of sort of functionality for not a whole lot of money. I'm going to talk about the guitar and then Dave's going to play it. One thing about this particular guitar, did you happen to notice the cosmetic imperfections?
I did not, no.
Okay. I'll call them out. Basically, this guitar has a couple of imperfections in the paint right here and here. It almost looks like somebody touched it while it was still wet. You can't see it except in reflected light, and in reflected light you see some kind of indentations there about the size of a fingertip. So we're going to discount this guitar a little bit. Rather than send it back to Fender and let it be a warranty issue and all of that, we thought, well, we'll just give somebody a break on it price-wise, sort of sell it as a B stock. We won't knock that much off, but we'll knock a little bit off for somebody that wants a good guitar and isn't as concerned about perfection of finish. Generally speaking, these guitars come from Fender. They're really nice. But a lot of time, well, most of the time they're not set up as well as they can be, and Fender has to draw a line in terms of the parts cost and that kind of thing, because they're trying to hit a pretty inexpensive price point. So what we do is we take it that next level, and on this particular guitar we've done some labor things to make it play really well, and those include a fret level, crown, and polish. So the levelness of frets, one fret next to, relative to the next, is what determines whether a guitar can play its best or not. That's the critical bottom line. All the frets must be level relative to each other if you want to get best case action. So we really take some time and do a good job with the frets so that everything is true, and then we polish the frets out and make everything really nice, so that you get best case action. This particular guitar was really set up low, and so guys that are looking for low action will find this is about as good as it gets. We also put a bone nut on this. We've pretty much been putting bone nuts on all the guitars that we've been hot rodding lately. Generally when we do the frets, we have to take the nut out anyway. Sometimes the fret, the nuts, the string spacing is a little off, or that kind of thing. We know we're going to have to reshape the nut and cut the fret slot depth anyway to fine tune it. So we figure, well, we'll go ahead and start with a bone nut and just do it right. Bone is the traditional material. It's a good hard material, and it's sort of a premium nut material. So those are functional upgrades to this guitar, and then we do a final setup on it when we're done. And we set it up so that you can use the tremolo realistically without it going out of tune all the time. And again, we're looking for playability. So this guitar feels really comfortable. As far as tonal upgrades, we completely rewired it. We put Fralin vintage hot pickups in it. Lindy Fralin is one of the, he's probably got about the most golden reputation you could have for a pickup maker. Has done a lot of pickups for a lot of real serious players, and so these are his vintage hot set, and vintage hot means vintage, neck middle, hot bridge. So the bridge sort of compensates for the inherent weakness of a typical Strat bridge pickup. You don't get as much string energy, as much excursion of the string above this pickup as you do above this pickup. If the pickups are equivalent output, this one's going to be louder unless you lower it way down and jack this one way up. So most pickup makers these days with their pickup sets are compensating for that. You may have heard of compensated sets. That's usually what that refers to. You get a little bit hotter bridge pickup to compensate for that weakness of its position. Fralin has taken this pickup one step further and put a steel base plate on the bottom of the pickup, and that strengthens and reshapes the magnetic field so you get a little bit more output. And output in this case is not about gain, although you'll see when Dave cranks it up, this guitar will really, I mean, it feels paint. But in this case, we're really looking about trying to just compensate for that weakness of the Strat bridge position and make that pickup full and able to really be a balanced pickup with the other two. The blender wiring actually is a Fralin idea too. He came up with this many years ago, 16, 18, 20 years ago, I guess. The idea is you have a volume and a tone control. A lot of people wonder what's the deal with the second tone control. There's a whole story about where that comes from, but essentially a lot of people say, you know what, just a single volume, single tone, fine with me. I don't need two tone controls. And so if you use a volume and a tone, this position, this knob, can be used for other things. And in this case, we're using it to allow you to combine the neck and the bridge pickups together. You can do that on a Telecaster. You cannot do it on a Stratocaster. And it's a good usable tone. And the other thing that you can do with the blender control, you can also get all three pickups on. That's another thing you can't normally do with the Stratocaster. And that's pretty usable. I was sort of surprised when I first heard it. Thought, well, that's going to kind of gimmicky, but actually it's pretty cool. So Dave will demonstrate that. Also, in the interest of both functionality and tone, we've upgraded the tremolo with a Callahan Premium Upgrade Kit. So this guitar ships from Fender with a cast zinc inertia block on the tremolo, the part that's inside and in the back. And the original guitars, the original Strats from the 50s and 60s had a solid steel block. So Callahan makes these cold rolled steel inertia blocks, and then he also makes really beautiful saddles, bent steel saddles. They're really nicely made. And so the upgrade kit includes the block and the saddles, and also a Callahan stainless tremolo arm. This arm pushes in, and then you can engage a couple threads just to hold it so you don't inadvertently pull it out. But really, it functions like a push-in arm, not a thread-in arm. And so there's no play in the arm. Usually with a vintage-style tremolo, there's a lot of play in the arm. Fender will usually drop a sort of a stiff spring down in there, but the spring can get compressed in there and get lodged into place and cause problems. This arm alleviates that. It really feels good when you use the tremolo. And as I said, because the tremolo is properly set up, you can use the tremolo realistically, and the guitar will still stay in tune. So that tells you what it is, and now Dave will play it, and you can hear what it sounds like.
I'm interested to hear all three. So I'm assuming to get all three pickups, you'd go into any notch position where you get middle and bridge, or middle and neck, and then use the blender from there.
That's correct.
Okay, so this should be all three. Control back to 10, then it's a typical notch position there, which is exactly a little more quacky. Middle. put a little more on that. Neck pickup. Let's hear the blender with this much gain. Neck and bridge. Neck and middle. Feels nice.
What's the mid-range on this thing? Kind of cranked up or no? No, not really.
Yeah, future set.
Treble's down. You mind if I bring the treble up a little bit?
Yeah, go for it.
Okay. Is that full gain?
No, you want more gain?
Yeah, man. Okay, so there you have it. The guitar, it really is a great guitar. The price is real reasonable, and we modify guitars like this all the time. We're trying to keep 10 of them on the website all the time, but we're not able to keep up with it. But anyway, we'll always have some on the site. Check it out and see what we have. And if you don't see something that you want, let us know, and we'd be happy to modify something for you. So, thanks for watching.